Hey folks, been a while. Today is December 12th, 2023, and it's about 55 degrees. It's around 5 o'clock p.m. So the sun's starting to go down. It's getting a little chilly out here, but it's been a chilly couple days anyway. The sun is bright. Glad to be on my bike today. Been working too much lately. So I'm on rails to trails or fall line trace. Probably swing through Flat Rock Park, do a loop there real quick before heading home. I'm 5 miles into a probably 12 or 13 mile ride. I was huffing it on the way here. I'll go a little easier on the way back so I can talk. It's been a very, very busy season. I've been blessed to have been very booked up these past few weeks. Past couple months, really. Probably more so than I have in 10 years. So I've just been working as much as I can physically make myself work. I'm enjoying it. But it's nice to get out on my bike. We went camping about a month ago in Fort Yargo State Park with 60-something friends. Most of them were in cabins, and we brought our camper, and it was cool. Lots of teenagers, lots of kids. It was raining most of the weekend, but it didn't slow us down. We played frisbee golf and putt-putt, lots of bike riding. I think a highlight was a friend of ours borrowed a couple of e-bikes similar to this one, but with 26-inch tires, full suspension, strong motors. And the mountain bike trails there are pretty incredible. Let me see what's going on with this tire. Or if I'm just running over stuff. I don't know what that sound was. Maybe it's just been nuts and sticks on the trail. Who knows? It's still loud. Oh, hold on. Maybe it's a strap. I bet that's what it is. Yep. I think this was hanging down. Okay, so I got to ride with my friend Nick Cash. We rode a 10-mile loop around the lake on the mountain bike trails, pretty high speed. It was intense and fun. He had never ridden one before, and he just got deployed for a year a couple days ago, yesterday. He left for a year. So it was neat to be able to ride a 10-mile ride with him. But then, even better than that was my son Eli. He got to ride one of those borrowed bikes. And he and I rode 3/4 of that way until that bike he was on quit for whatever reason. Thankfully, the guy who was in charge of that bike had a pickup truck, and he came and picked us up at the boat ramp where we were stranded. And then I just rode back the rest of the way, but that was a big highlight. Something that he and I wanted to do for a long, long time is get to ride mountain bike trails together on mountain e-bikes. So it's a real treat.
So I decided to go ahead and include some of that footage from my bike ride with Eli at Fort Yargo State Park in Winder, Georgia. This was about a month ago, November 2023. Unfortunately, I had to cut out most of the more technical parts just because it was just so bumpy. So a lot of what you see is just kind of the more flat areas in between the fun parts. But it was a great ride, and it is still bumpy in the footage, so if it's too bumpy for you, feel free to just skip ahead. It's maybe a total of 5 minutes.
I like that.
Okay.
I like the technical bit.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, only if you want to.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna take to the left. Nope. So stay straight. Oh, okay. Yeah. You want to stay in the lead?
Up to you.
Either way. Either way.
Well, if you're gonna fall down, I don't want to run over you. So.
I'm giving you space for the same reason.
Really? Here, how about you lead then?
Okay. That's what I was saying, is a whole different experience from your mountain bike. I know. It is. Yeah, Nick skipped that part too. I said Nick skipped that part too. I did get video of that. I think I even posted it on this channel, but I think it's hidden or private. I may turn that on public if he's cool with that. It was just totally unedited. It was just a bumpy ride. So I had an interesting day today. I've been doing a lot of real estate photography on top of everything else. And a lot of them have been in Fort Mitchell, Alabama, which is about 45 minutes away. And this place is right next to Fort Benning or Fort Moore. And a lot of houses, they're kind of cookie cutter houses, but they're nice, sizable houses. And so people who are here for, a short stay for Fort Benning Rangers especially, who need to be less than 30 minutes from work at any time, it's a good place for them to go buy a nice house, live with their family. It's right by the drop zone, so there's these big planes flying over. I have a clip in one of my other videos there. But so I was on my way there. There's this road, this cut through highway that Fort Mitchell is on called 165. And it's a very dangerous highway. A lot of people have been killed there with wrecks. And there was a teenager killed there last night, on that same strip of road. Got in a wreck with a pickup truck. And this Tesla's trying to pass me. But even when I was growing up, we went that way to the beach all the time. And it was very dangerous. It was, I forget what they called it, but it was like a death trap. I mean, lots of deaths there, a lot. Sorry for the wind. I'll probably have to turn the noise canceling on. I need to get another lavalier microphone. So I'm driving through Phoenix City, and this lady in a white Cadillac running up on my bumper. I mean, like almost touching me, flying down the road. So I try to get out of her way. I finally did, and she's flicking me off and acting all mean. I wasn't in her way. There was nowhere I could go. It wasn't like I was the left lane bandit. She was just being a jerk, and other people were honking at her. She started doing the same thing to them. Started trying to run cars off the road. Well, we get to a red light, and she starts honking at me and shoot me more birds. So then she pulls out a gun and starts waving it at me. So the light changes and I move on, and she just kept coming, like going back and then flying up and getting next to me, trying to run me off the road again. So then I'm in the right lane of a 4-lane highway. She gets in the left lane, pulls right up next to me, rolls her window down, pulls her gun. I mean, this is at 60 miles an hour. Pulls it out, aims it out the window at my face from like 6 feet away. Our cars are almost touching. If I slow down, she slows down. If I speed up, she speeds up. She would not leave my side with a gun aimed at my face. And then was waving it at other people. And so then she kind of sped up and took off. And thankfully, she was way down the road. And I could see her. Every time I go over a hill, I can see her, quarter to half mile ahead. Thinking, okay, well, I'm glad she's up there and not messing with me anymore. So then I see her about, I don't know, almost a half mile up, pull in to a gas station. So she pulls in, but then she loops back like she's waiting to get back on the highway. Well, then as soon as I pass by, she pulls right out behind me, rides my bumper again, gets next to me, tries to push me off the road. And then she took off again. And then she turned at the Dollar General. So that second part, by the time I saw that she had pulled off the road and was pulling back onto the road, I called 911. I was on the phone with the police. I'd already taken a picture of her tag. But she was right. I could see her tag from where I was when she pulled back on after she passed me again. So I gave her the license plate number in real time. And so finally she turns at the Dollar General, turns right, and I'm turning left on Owens Road about half mile up, back towards the neighborhoods where most of the houses are that I shoot. So I turned left, which was good because, you know, if she had tried to pull out again, she never would have found me then, because by then I was in neighborhood zone. It was just wild. So the lady on 911, she said, we'll send someone right out. I told him, she just pulled into the Dollar General, at least it's the same road the Dollar General's on. I don't know if she kept going or not. I kept going. I just want to get away from her for obvious reasons. So, turn on Owens Road, crossing the railroad tracks, and there's about 5 cops there. And there's a car that had stalled and was stuck on the railroad tracks. And they were trying to jump it off. And I'm like, what in the world? Crazy stuff going on. So I get to the house where I was supposed to be going. I texted my wife and some friends, other real estate agents. And one of our good friends, she says, let me text a friend and see if there's anything on their Fort Mitchell neighborhood Facebook group. So she pulls it up, and in a totally unrelated incident, someone had been murdered in that neighborhood an hour before. So a 19-year-old had shot and killed his neighbor, and I guess had killed his neighbor and was in custody, had been arrested. In the same neighborhood where I was now. And all of that put together, just a creepy feeling. So once I got, I was still running on adrenaline from that whole gun incident and everything when I got to the house. It was all happening so fast and trying to make sense of it all. Once I got in the house, I just started shaking. It was like, it really hit me what had happened. And it freaked me out a little bit. Just thankful everything just turned out the way it did. What happened after, I have no idea. I don't know if they found her or not. They have her license plate number. They have a description of the car, a description of her. Like I said, she had a gun on her. So if they find her and pull over, they're going to find the gun. Not that she's not allowed to have it, but she was waving it in my face and pointing it at my face. So I'm glad that ordeal is over. I'm out there at Fort Mitchell a couple times a week to shoot houses. And man, I don't know if I want to keep doing that. It's just always something crazy going on out there. There's nothing out there other than the drop zone where they drop people out of the airplane. There's a Dollar General and there's a couple barbecue joints, but it's one road and it's a fast-moving highway. A lot of truckers come through there, hence all the accidents. And so what happens is there's hundreds and hundreds of houses, if not thousands, and they're all the same. They're all in these flat, there's no trees out there. They're all in this flat, clear-cut area down these streets. And back-to-back patio houses next to each other. And what happens is military folks, they're being assigned here with their families, and they start looking online for houses, and they're like, hey, we can get this 2,400 square foot 2-story house with a hot tub and a big fenced in backyard for whatever it is price. and we're 30 minutes from work. That's a great deal. But you get there and there's just nothing there. I mean, yeah, it's neighborhoods, but it's just streets. I mean, there's no homeowners association or neighborhood pool or organizations or anything that I know of. So, I don't know. So that's the appeal of this place. I work for one agent who she specializes in Fort Mitchell. She's here in Columbus, but she works through Zillow. So she just buys all the listings for that area. So if someone's looking for a house there, it automatically calls her. She pays a commission. But she closed on 50-something houses this year just in those neighborhoods, but herself. Because again, it's just people looking for a place to live while they're here. Nice big house, but there's nothing that comes with it. There's nowhere to eat, no good grocery stores. I mean, there's literally, you're passing junkyard after junkyard on the way out there. And if you're not in the core neighborhoods, I mean, they are little shanty houses. Like, I'd hate to know how many don't have running water and that kind of stuff out there. So definitely a poor area in general, except for that. Anyway, scary day. Glad to be home. Glad to be back in the beautiful state of Georgia. So my son Eli, if you've been following along, he is more than halfway through his internship at Global Payments. Used to be TSYS, Total Systems, and he got one of the 3 internships available. There were a lot of people that applied, so he made quite a name for himself. It was supposed to be 12 weeks, and they just extended it until March 1st at least. Ooh, those gnats. So, and they're paying him really well. Like pretty much close to what he would be making if he were a full-time cybersecurity with a degree. So, for his intern pay, it's pretty dang good. I'm not gonna say how much it is, but it's higher than the average salary in the United States for sure. So he's doing great there. I feel like they extended the internship because they knew that they wouldn't necessarily have a job opening at the end of the 12 weeks. So it buys them some time for another opening to come up in between or to create a job. But either way, he'll definitely start applying soon for a lot of places and hopefully have some good offers on the table by the end of his internship. And you know, my hope is, say maybe around February, something will pop up there and they'll offer him a job on the spot. He'll move into full-time employment and just his internship will stop. His new job will start with the same company, with the same folks. That would be amazing for him. I think it's been a shock to his system to go from being a student, especially a homeschool student with a lot of time on his hands, to full-time employment, especially now in the wintertime where it gets dark at 5:30 and you got to be at work at 8. So he's working 8 to 5 every day with a pretty strict lunch hour. And you know, he leads like 4 Bible studies. He volunteers at a homeless mission or a group that goes and feeds the homeless and clothes the homeless. And they actually go out onto the streets every week and deliver clothes that they took orders for the week before, and provide meals and speak to the homeless and that kind of thing. So he stays very busy, and it's hard on him right now to not feel like he has time to do all of that, because it doesn't leave him any extra time. But he's doing well. So I'm off the trail now, obviously, heading back home through the hood. I'll turn my lights on. Not that it's dark, but just in case people coming home from work don't see me, they'll see this light. This bike has a bright light, which I really like. Like, it's super bright for someone on another bike coming towards you, but it's plenty bright for a car to see and think it's a motorcycle or another car with a headlight out. Just another great feature about this bike. So I'm on my Vitilan i7 Pro. I love this bike. I've crashed it 3 times now. That was on me, that wasn't the bike. The bike held up great. It's a workhorse, built like a tank. It was me that's gotten hurt. I broke some ribs the first time. The last time was just stupidity. We were camping up at Fort Yargo. Like I said, I'd just ridden 20 miles that day of trails, fast-paced through the woods in the rain. No problem. And I get back to the campsite and my bike is just filthy, covered in mud. So I'm like, you know what? The people next door in that campsite just left. So I'm gonna take my bike 20 feet over there and wash it off with their spigot. So I ride it over there, and there's a railroad tie where I was gonna put my bike to wash it off. So I try to ride up on the railroad tie. It's about 2 or 3 inches up off the ground, and it's super slippery and wet and slimy. And I go to try to ride up on it, and instead it rode the side of it and went over. And I landed on my heel where I already had plantar fasciitis, and just kind of crushed my heel. I say crush, it pinched it real good to where it hurt to walk on real bad for several days. It still hurts, but at this point I don't know if it's just back to the normal plantar fasciitis or whether it's my heel, but that was tough. And then so the next morning I had to get up and pack up our campsite, drive home, unpack, unload, all barely able to walk. And the next morning, I had 2 full day shoots. That kid looks like my son, but it's not. 2 full day shoots at Columbus State University. I'm their campus photographer now, as a contract kind of thing. And they were jam-packed days with like 30 students that had volunteered to model and all these pictures for their marketing for the next year or 2. So I was ready to get off my feet after a few days, let me tell you. But it's just been nonstop since then and before then too. So this is Warm Springs Road, the only scary intersection on this ride from my house to Fall Line Trace. I say scary, it just takes some patience to not get out in traffic. So see, I'm already safely across. Just gotta wait for the right moment. So I'm pretty much back in my neighborhood. These gloves, which I should have been wearing on my last 2 wrecks, because I would have saved my palms. My palms scraped them off pretty good. So from now on, I'm wearing gloves, and I'll always wear my helmet, of course. But these gloves are leather on the inside, a stretchy fabric on the back. And I got them at Lowe's or Home Depot. They're just work gloves, but they've got great grip. They don't have the touch thing where you can use your phone with them. So I clipped out the fingertips here on my thumb and my first finger. And if I need to use my phone, I just stick my fingers through them, through the holes. But I've never owned riding gloves specifically for like motorcycles, but I can't imagine them being much better than these. And these were cheap, maybe $10. 12 miles in, fairly close to home now. So kind of a funny story about this shoot I did at CSU, Columbus State University. So, you know, these are supposed to be like somewhat candid classroom photos, student life, dorm room, this kind of thing. And so we get in this one classroom, and you got, I don't know, 20 kids all in the chairs like they're students. We didn't have a professor. So we're like, well, this needs to look like a class. So we had the computer turned on, a projector and everything. And so one of the students, she said, hey, I just finished my dissertation. I'm a chemistry major. I'm graduating in a few weeks. And I know my speech by heart, my presentation, and I've got it. I can pull the slides up. And I can just do it in front of the class and pretend to be a professor. They're like, yeah, let's do that. So, you know, the whole thing with these pictures is they're for marketing. So they're supposed to appeal to future students. So everybody's supposed to look happy. Oh, here's Red Jeep guy. Let's see what happens here. All right, this is the jerk. Just listen to him. Maybe his girlfriend's driving. Maybe that's not him. That's one of the other people. Yeah, never mind. Definitely not him. I'll show you him in a minute. He was out grilling in his driveway earlier. So anyway, students are supposed to look really happy, be smiling, laughing, whatever. Happy about being in class. She gets up to do this presentation, and the presentation is about ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease, and how it slowly kills you from the inside, and how just the horrible death you experience, and how neurologically it shuts all your systems down. And I just given all the students the spiel about, you know, make sure you keep smiling, keep looking at the professor, you're happy, you know, you're enjoying class, you love being here. So it was kind of hilarious looking around the room at all these awkward smiles that she gives this presentation. The slides even talk about, they're up in the background, are talking about, you know, how it kills you, basically. So anyway, I love awkward moments, and that was the epitome of an awkward moment, because all these big beaming smiles over such a gloomy subject. And this is also not the red Jeep guy. There's like 5 red Jeeps in our neighborhood, but only one of them who's a very angry teenager and likes to take it out on people. See, if he doesn't change, he's gonna end up like that lady that was aiming the gun at my face earlier. Gotta work that stuff out. So once again, I'm killing time riding around the neighborhood because I don't want to be home yet. I love being at home. I just love being on my bike, and I haven't been in a while. So I'm just riding. Riding to ride. I promised I was getting good exercise before I started this video, and I've gotten some since. I'm sure you've heard the struggle in my voice. But it's kind of cold. I'm getting hungry. Been making rice a lot lately in my rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, you need to get you a rice cooker. Those things are so cheap and they work flawless every time. Don't try to get the packets of rice like the yellow rice or chicken rice. Those don't work for me anyway. But I just use like jasmine rice, white rice, any of that stuff, and it just comes out perfect. So what I've been doing lately is I buy this Indian hot curry paste on Amazon because the store I used to buy it at doesn't carry anymore. So I just buy it in bulk. I'll buy a case of it. And I'll mix in about a tablespoon to a couple cups of rice in my rice cooker. And it just kind of flavors it so well. I'll cook it in it. And even my twins eat it. And it's spicy, it's hot. So, and then this rice cooker has a little rack up top for steaming stuff. So I've just been taking a head of cabbage and cutting about a 1-inch thick cross section of it, stick it up in the top, putting some Cavender seasoning or something on that, and just letting it steam. And when it's fresh like that and it's steamed and it's not like hasn't been in the fridge and it's not overcooked, it doesn't stink. It just is good. Has the right amount of flavor. Doesn't taste old and stinky. So then today, a friend of mine, Matt, brought me. He went to Thailand for several weeks. He just got back a couple weeks ago, so he brought me back a bunch of goodies. One of them was several packets. He bought them for himself, but he didn't like it. It's too hot for him, so he gave them to me. But they're Thai curry paste. So similar to the Indian paste, but it's Thai and it's really hot. So today I made my rice with the Thai curry paste instead of the Indian, and it was very good also. And extra spicy, but my 14-year-old ate it and went back for seconds. He's not really a spice kind of guy. So, trying to eat a little healthier. What is this person doing in the yard? It's weird. Can't see her on camera, but there was some lady on her knees with her face down by the ground on the curb in front of her front yard. I think she was probably taking a picture of something in the grass with her phone, but it looked like, I don't know what it looked like she was doing. All right, the family just got home, so time for me to go too. Have a great one.